This is the stats for April. Hi everyone, it's me, it's Tony Johal. It's that time of the month again where we're talking about the stats of what's going on in the Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge, generally the Waterloo region real estate market. So I've got the data in front of me. This is the stats for April of this past year. So I think, when I did the video last month, we talked about record-breaking sales. We talked about how this momentum from March would bleed into April, and it most certainly did. So here's some numbers here. So I'll give you some numbers and I'll elaborate a little bit on each one just to kind of give you my thoughts on it rather than just reading facts to you. So there were 843 homes sold through the MLS system last month. So that is a 263% increase from the year before. Now keep in mind, this time last April, we were just entering the state of emergency. We were basically just kind of getting used to these lockdowns, which now seem like very normal, unfortunately. But here's what we find right now. What we're finding right now is basically that the market right now, there's lots of inventory. January and February brought about a lot of buyer traction. Doesn't mean we got a lot of listings. It doesn't mean that the buyers had a lot to pick from. January, February, and even into March, the buyers were very restricted with what it was that they can actually purchase. And so that's when we started getting those 200, 300,000, 400,000, and in one or two cases more than that, where it just went so far above the asking price that people are just scratching their heads and they're like, what's going on in this market? Well, January, February, and March, people were just starved for information. If you went onto realtor.ca and you looked at generally the pins, you will see a lot of pins now compared to what you saw back in the early part of the year. So that really did take an impact on what the inevitable end sale price was. We're getting prices now kind of in line with what we were getting in January and that type of thing at the moment. So we talked about a 263% increase from last April, but we saw a 15% decrease from from this previous March. But again, we just came off the most wild March that we've ever had in the KW real estate market. So the average price for a home in the region in general, this is across, apartment buildings to luxury estates to townhouses to semis to detached, everything. The average was 757,000. So that is a huge number as an average. So that is a 34% increase from last year. That is a big jump. You're talking more than a third of a jump in a year. So, back, a number of years ago, properties used to go up 5% a year, 6% a year. But to have a 30% jump in 12 months, wow, that is huge. A lot of people who are out looking for homes, quite often their comments are, well, I don't really have to buy right now, I can wait. Well, I would probably play devil's advocate to that and say, can you? Because the prices are jumping up in such a way that lots of people are just getting priced out of the market. Unfortunately, they keep having to go back to their bank to get, pre-approved once again, because that pre-approval only lasts 3 or 4 months, and sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 months to find something. And during that time, the prices continue to climb up. So you may have been pre-approved to 600,000 in the past, but 600,000 when you got pre-approved might have been a reasonably healthy starting point. Now it doesn't get you very much when the average price is 757,000. Scary thought, but ultimately it's the reality that we're living in. The next thing that we want to talk about is the average detached home. The average detached home in the region was 899,000. Let's round it up. 900,000 for a detached home on average in KW and Cambridge in the Waterloo region. That's a 34% increase. That is a 36% increase from the year before. In 1 year, a 36% jump in that price point, that's that's extreme. The average apartment style condo was 441,000. That's a 21.2% jump over last year. The average townhouse was 612,000. That is a 52.1% jump in 12 months. Now, some people have talked about, are we starting to see a bit of a calm? Are we starting to see things shift a little bit? Well, I'm going to say right now, we are still very much in a seller's market. Just because you're not getting 20, 30 offers on a property, you're still getting 10, 15 offers on a property, which in any market is a seller's market to the extreme. So that's my thoughts on what type of market that we're in. Are we going to switch over to a buyer's market in the near future? I don't think so. At least nothing, unless something catastrophic happens or big changes in the banking industry. We're going to be in the seller's market, I think, for at least a little while. The average number of days to sell in April was only 9 days. Think about that. This time last year, the average time, given we were in the pandemic or just starting the pandemic, 19 days in April of 2020. The 5-year average was 21 days. So over the course of 5 years, 3 weeks to sell a house. That sounds like, it sounds like the Stone Age. Right now it's 9 days. Much of that has to do with a home hitting the market on day 1, offers being presented on day number 7, maybe a day to receive the check. You're already at 8 days, 9 days before it's posted. So that seems to be about the average. The holding offer strategy seems to be keeping the days on the market down. So anyways, that's the kind of market that we're in right now. Just so you know, the average detached property is 900,000. The average property in general across the region is 757,000. So those are some big numbers, some scary numbers. But of course, if you ever need a real estate professional to navigate you, we would love to do so. We are obsessed with the market. We're obsessed with real estate and understanding what's happening in the market with the dynamics. So anyway, guys, I hope you found that helpful. And as always, if there's ever anything we can do, reach out.